Great, amazing. Sorry for waiting for too much. There was a little technical problem, but we solved it as soon as it was possible. So let's start it. I'm going to talk about you how the visual marketing and branding was working in Hunger Games, especially you know, about what comes with televisions, movies, dressing up people, styling, stuff like that. Let me introduce myself a little, just to know why I am talking about stuff like that to you. I'm finished a fashion school, a French fashion school, where I get a fashion degree about fashion design. Actually, it's interesting because my sorry, something happens here. So it was interesting because we taught marketings and stuff like that, just like not like in any other school like this before. And after that, I taking part in movie making and television shows as well. Actually, the two of them, what makes me the more impression about things like that was it calls fashion creator. It was there was an X Factor kind of show in Hungary, and it was a side show for that, and we needed to styling the outfits for the X Factor singers. And the other one was the hardest experience in my life when I was working in Hungary for a Brad Pitt movie, and it was the World War Z. It was so tiring and exhausting, and the hardest part both was to treat you know, the celebrities and the people who's working for productions like that. Actually, what was get me in this series, it is how catch the main line of these things that I experienced in the television and the movie making. I love the books as well, but I think the movies catches that part much more and can show you much more better, because you know, they use visuals and the books doesn't use visuals. So if we are talking about visual propaganda and visual marketing, movies, you know, can do best than books. So the first topic we need to talk about is how this television and movie people, or actually not them, because they are only the tools. So as you can see on the picture, I think it draws the best how it works. There is someone who's got the money and the power, and they uses these people to making shows for you, to think what they want you to think and buy what they want you to buy. So if you're thinking that I'm into something, they made it into your mind by watching stuff. And I will show you why most of these are going through what you see and not what you hear. Actually, I need to tell you why I'm saying branding and propaganda in the same level, because are technically the same thing. But the propaganda means what you can read on the slide, because it is about that, and you can clearly, it is clearly visible in the movie as well. If you're in it, if you're was looking, you know, every part of it actually. And the propaganda and the branding both using, but it's not, you know, told, but it happens that both using brainwashing techniques, and it's actually happening in the same way. If you're changes the word victim to buyer, you can find the brainwashing technique works as you know, the marketing how works on buyers. And yeah, it works better when it's just victim things. It's just entertainment. So that's why they making the television shows, that's why they're making movies to you, because that's the best way they can, you know, show you or impresses you some feelings that, okay, I'm so much into that, I'm so much into those, that's why I wanted to buy this or that. And that's why they used, yeah, in the Hunger Games too. Actually, I found some, you know, facts from the branding stuff. I wanted to show you that's why the movie used this way to influence people. And you can see that 80% of what they see is what people retain, and only 20 of them what they read, and only 10% what you hear. So it's much more influential if you're seeing a video or watching something. So everything you can see through your eyes, it's always influencing you, even if you don't think about it. It's just much more fact that why the movie creators or why the writer thought that, you know, the movie itself is a utopia, and why they thought the propaganda would work in the future this way, that they showing you and force you to watch the videos and the broadcasting. So if you can remember, the people was forced to watch everything on television. And that's why 7 in 10 people view brands in a more positive light after watching interesting video content from them. Video is seen as the future of content marketing. So, and the other things is just, you know, saying the same thing, that it's totally a valid imagination. And nowadays it's already happening to us that every successful brand use visual marketing or videos to sell their products, and you can see why. And actually it happens through your feelings, it comes to your feelings, because what is you see makes you, you know, impressions and feeling inside of you. And most of your buying decisions is based on your emotions. And if it comes to Ketnis, you know, his character, or being the Mockingjay in the movie, and being a character who has been fallen by tons of people and leading the whole revolution, it is because we are attracted more to some personality type than others. And she was the one who showed the action, the feeling that everyone wanted to express in that regime they have been living in. And in those 2 pictures you can see that why propaganda and marketing is almost the same thing. I found this picture about Beyonce, you know, selling Pepsi on this poster or something, and this was a propaganda poster for the District 13 when they marketing for the last movie, I think. So you can see basically showing the same thing. And I have a story, because I wanted to tell you much more about costumes and the dresses they get in the movie, why they were dressed up like this, what they wanted to show, what they wanted to make the people feel about the characters. And I show you a real life explain. Maybe it makes you much more feel why does it so important what your dress up, if you're a person that everyone is see, everyone is follow, everyone is interested what is she or he doing. That's a meeting when Melania Trump and Michelle Obama was meeting after Donald Trump was elected as a president of the United States, and Mrs. Obama was wearing a Narciso Rodriguez dress in the color of deep purple. And this color means a ton of things if you're dressed up like this in a meeting like that. Actually, it could mean that they hoping for that, you know, the Republicans and the Democrats are go together, and they can, you know, have the same same result. They want to do on the same line. So this is what Mrs. Obama is hoping for. That's what they want to impress with her dress. Not to mention that when Trump itself was elected, Hillary Clinton was wearing after the election on her speech for the same reason, at the same color with her husband too. So it's totally you know, visible that it has something together with each other.
I don't know, a brief explanation. Red is the color of the Republicans,
yeah.
And
blue is for the
Democrats.
Yes.
And usually the old president or the losing party is wearing purple as the mixture of two colors as a message to say that we want to unite America and not to remain divided between reds and blues. Just sorry for this intervention. I don't know if you're all familiar with the color symbolism.
So they are actually hoping for bipartisanship. So that it is all about. So let's start with the movie, how it uses. So we have actually in the movie two brands. If we see them as a brands, and I will going to talk about them as a brands. So there is, you know, the capital and the District 13, and every one of them is having, you know, a message, a product actually, even if it's not, you know, you can touch with your hand, but they have something to sell to people, and they have a really great way to do it. And that's the part I wanted to show how and what they want to sell. Actually, at first, if you're not familiar with the series, I wanted to show you how it looks like in the capital watching television, and how it looks like watching television in the district. And I think it is pretty visible what is the difference between the two people. And here would come the first video I wanted to show you, so I need to stop the slide because somehow it's not working. And most of the people doesn't know, but when they were marketing for the last two movies of the Hunger Games, they made propaganda videos for Panem, the capital, and the District 13 as well, and it was only available on YouTube. And I found them, so I wanted to show you. So I needed to open it on YouTube. This first one was for the capital. Sorry, it was my fault. Shit happens.
Since the dark days, our great nation has known only peace. Ours is an elegant system, conceived to nourish and protect. Your districts are the body. The capital is the beating heart. Your hard work feeds us, and in return, we feed and protect you. But if you resist the system, you starve yourself. If you fight against it, it is you who will bleed. I know you will stand with me, with us, with all of us, together, as one. Panem today, Panem tomorrow, Panem forever.
I would like to ask you if you realize that have you felt even a little to be threatened when you see this video? Because the president was threatening everybody in the video, and they made the look and the tone of his voice that it is, you know, just like having a kindergarten someone caressing my skin and telling me that everything's going to be okay. But he told us that you're going to bleed if you're not doing what he wants you to do. Because I don't think so. As I'm not fluent in English, I write down what, sorry, but I wanted to read you, but I write down why it is important to watch how everything was white on the video. He was in white, Peter was in white, everything was in white, and it means that we need to take care about this color. And I made some research to watch what white means actually, because you know in our mind somehow the white always comes with something, you know, pure and nice and soft and you know, just like this. So I needed to find out why they use the white color, and I find it actually. The white color, the positive side of white color, are that this is the color of perfection, offering the sense of peace and calm, comfort and hope. So that's the thing. He wants you to think that the capitals means that to you, to everybody. But white color goes for isolating, empty and cold. So it's pretty much the true self of the president, I think. So that's why the movie and why the video uses so many white colors. And as you heard, they tell unity, prosperity, and stuff like that to the people. So actually the product they want to sell to you, that if you're with the capital, we are sure about ourselves. So you can stand with us. We are safe, you are safe with us. We one for all for one. He was telling us this. And let us see what was the propaganda video for the District 13. Quite not the same feeling, right? It doesn't seem you don't have to do anything to have changes, or you get what you want. You've seen so many armed people, so they didn't want to sell you that if you want comfort or something, you don't have to do anything. Just lean on us. Everything's going to be okay. Maybe you realize that they use so many white here as well, for the same reasons as the capital. But Ketnis had the red propaganda armor dress, and it's because they wanted to show the people that in the old things, that means the white capital stuff, the only changes, the only action can be brought by the Mockingjay. So that's why she wore red. And I found some things for red, what the red stands for, actually just like the white color. And red means will to survive, motivate to take action. It stands for leadership qualities, determination, and it makes a woman attractive. And we know that it matters no matter what, if it comes to visuals. Oh, and I almost forgot, what is the product the District 13 want to tell you? That we are a team. You can see how they technically dancing together, so it was so synchronized. There was no mistake in that. That we are many, you know, when was the District 13 was ruined to the ground, everyone thought that no people would live there anywhere, and they had such, you know, so many armors and stuff. And we have a strong leader, and we are willing to fight. So, let's see what were the products in the Hunger Games. Sorry. Maybe it will start every time from, you know, from the beginning. It's not too good to hear. So, okay, if it starts again from the beginning, I wanted to show you the last video first, not to start this game again after that, okay? I have only one more. And I wanted to show you it because everybody thinks if you see a celebrity or a political person or someone, if you have a feeling about her or him, or have a vision about him, what he stands for, what he goes for, what does he or she means to me, you know, what is the image of him? The key word in that is image, because when you see a celebrity or a political person, it's only I think 40% of his true personality. Because there's a team, every one of them behind them, a whole team that finds out from her or him actually what he's got, what can we use it for, how can we build it up for our yes, for our own purpose. And there's a scene in the movie, on the last movie, where everything you see and everything you will hear is perfectly rewrites how it works, how a celebrity, how a political person is to be created, and how much Katniss wasn't that person that they want her to be in the whole movie show.
Everyone's either gonna want to kiss you, kill you, or be you.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, let's bring up the setting. Little wind. Okay, Katniss, we're going to start you down on one knee,
okay.
And as you rise up, you're going to hold your flag in the air and deliver your line. And remember, you've just stormed the outskirts of the capital, arm in arm with your brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
People of Panem, we fight, we dare, we...
Does she know the line?
I know it.
Okay, all right. Let's do it
She's
again.
warming up.
Okay, all right. With energy, go.
People of Panem, we fight, we dare to end this hunger for justice.
You've just been in battle! I'm sorry. Excuse my outburst. You've just been in battle. Try it again. Whenever you're ready.
People of Panem, we fight, we dare to end this hunger for justice.
And that, my friends, is how a revolution dies. Hello, Katniss. That's how you greet an old friend.
Maybe I don't recognize you sober.
Well, I guess it looks as bad as it feels.
People of Panem, we fight, we dare, we end this hunger for justice.
of one incident where Ketnis Everdin genuinely moved you. Not where you were jealous of her hairstyle, or her dress went up in flames, or she made a halfway decent shot with an arrow, and not where Peter made you like her. No, I'd like you all to think of one moment where she made you feel something real.
Oh. When she volunteered for her sister at the reading.
Excellent example. Okay. Now, I hope that wasn't important. Okay, volunteer forces. Good. What else?
Oh, when she sang that song for Little Rue.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get choked up at that. You know, I like you better, Effie, without all that makeup.
Oh, I like you better sober.
When she chose Rue as an ally as well.
Now, what do all these have in common?
No one told her what to do.
Unscripted, yes. So maybe we should just leave her alone.
And wash her face. She's still a girl. You made her look 35.
The opportunities for spontaneity are obviously lacking below ground. So what you're suggesting is we toss her to combat.
I can't sanction putting an untrained civilian in battle just for effect. This is not the capital.
No, that is exactly what I'm suggesting. Put her in the field.
No, we can't protect her.
It has to come from her. That's what people respond to. You want a symbol for the revolution. She cannot be coached into it. Trust me, I know.
Maybe there's some place that's less dangerous.
District 8, they reported heavy bombing last week. And no military targets left.
We can't guarantee her safety.
I'll never be able to guarantee my safety. I want to go.
And if you're killed?
Make sure you get it on camera. At this moment, she understands what this goes for. So, let's get back here. I'm not an IT person.
Today, apparently, so
Yeah,
profound apologies for that.
I try to be as fast as I can.
Well, District 11 was never famous for technology.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, here it is. I told you that every brand has tools to get what they want, and I wanted to talk about what were the tools in the movies. And first of all, it was the Hunger Games itself. If you remember, in the first movie, Snow explains to Seneca what is this whole games about. They wanted to show strength and power to people, but give them one little hope. That there is always one little hope, and he said it's little is the key word. That it is always enough to have only a little hope, because that makes people that they got some reason to live and do the nowadays work just as usual and not wanting to have more or something. That's what they wanted to use the Hunger Games for. They wanted to show people feeling about the games or being part of the games, being a victor, being a tribute. And I think that picture shows what was the impression they wanted to create in the audience, what it feels like to be a tribute, and actually that's how it truly looks like, what it's to be a tribute. So to me it looks like we are in the slaughterhouse or something, and the people are just livestock animals, nothing like that, or nothing else like that. The other thing they were selling at the capital were the victors, actually. You know, it somehow happens when someone wins the X Factor, or I don't know, some kind of television show, she or he became famous about it, and something. That's what happens to the victors, actually, and the capital used them to selling their beliefs, their you know, point of view about everything. It was yeah, it was a propaganda posters about the victory tour of Pita and Ketnis. And if you can see, it's pretty much, you know, high tech and color white. It's happened to see again, and it will be important later that Ketnis holding white roses in her hands, and I will tell you later why. So if you see on the picture, you feel like, oh wow, I tribute to that's so great. I'm going to live like this. I'm going to find love and you know, go to the heaven and stuff like that. And this is what it looks like, truly having being on a victory tour, guarded by you know, soldiers. If you're saying something inappropriate, they would cut your throat out and stuff like that. I wanted to say a few words about Finnick in this topic, because so many people doesn't know, because actually it was only in the scripted in the books, but he was the victor who was, you know, you can see on the first picture that he's pretty much a hot guy, isn't he? So the capital itself find it this way too when he won his Hunger Game. So the capital political persons, especially women, were, so Snow was selling her actually, him actually to people as a product. So he was a prostitute, technically. And he was telling this story in the broadcast on the District 13 on the last movie. The picture is from that. The Three Fingers. Actually, it was for the, it was, every time it was existent between the capital people or in people in Panem, but it became the sign of the mockingjay, or sign of the revolution, when Ketnis first used it when she buried the little Rue when she died. And it became, you know, the sign of the revolution. That was how people tell each other that I stand for you, I believe you, I thank you for, and my admiration to you. And it wasn't, you know, well, it was dangerous to use in the end of the story, because especially this man was shot in the head for showing that to Ketnis in the victory tour. And that's how they use it later when the revolution, you know, goes on and on. The White Rose, I promised you to tell about that too. The White Rose actually is a hybrid breeded by Snow himself. It was written on the books, not too much scripted in the movies, but that White Rose has a special glittering color and has a special smell. And he was kept one with him like every time, and it was because it was scripted on the book. It was because his smell of his mouth were already the smell of blood, because he was drinking from drinking from the cocktails and stuff where he put poison to poison his enemies, and he was drinking from that too, just, you know, not to think that he was the one who killed them. That's why he was, when he was coughing at the end of the movie, he was coughing bleed into the handkerchief. So roses on his apartment, roses on his dress, and the rose was shown every moment when they doing their propaganda against the District 13. And later it becomes a psychological terror he uses against Ketnis. And you can see it, even when he was even when Caesar was making the interview with Pita, the White Roses must be shown on the video. The mockingjay herself or itself was a tool as well, a really strong tool actually, because the whole District 13 was built everything on the mockingjay. The mockingjay actually was a pin or it's a bird in the movie. And Ketnis found it in a market or something, and she bought it originally to her sister to protect her and stuff like that. And it was given her back when she volunteered for being the tribute. And Sina felt like this is her spirit animal. It became her spirit animal. So it was actually his inspiration to create Ketnis into a bluebird who can fly the people into freedom and into another reality. And later it was, you know, it was graffiti around everywhere when the revolution started. Even when on their faces on this propaganda poster was painted that. So that would be the video. And who were the person, actually, the marketing pros who's built it Ketnis, or built it, you know, the whole District 13, or the capital, or the products they wanted to sell. The first one was, I wanted to tell you about this Hamish, because he was the mentor for Ketnis and Pita. I can see what you're showing.
15 minutes more.
Okay, but we started much later.
But they told us to tell you this.
Okay. I can be as fast as I can. Sorry. So, the mentor was Hamish himself. He needed to, you know, tell actually Pita and Ketnis what to do to be alive or be successful at the games. And actually what he said to Ketnis on the slide, you can see, it's, you know, I don't think I need to say more about that. The other one was the host, the Caesar Flickerman. He was selling, you know, the whole Hunger Games as is an entertainment, and it's not a slaughtering show. And he was doing, you know, I think he is the best man in I don't know, the best host I've ever seen in my life. So, because he's legitimately make you smile, even when it is a slaughterhouse. The stylist itself, Sina, you know, who was created actually, I think he was the one who created Ketnis's personality with his dresses. If I have little time, but I have time to show you how. And he founded, and he was known why it is not an entertainment, and he wanted to make Ketnis to get through alive in these games, and after that he wanted her to be what she needed to be, the Mockingjay. And the last game maker, Plutarch Hevesby, who was the only person who, yeah, it's just, he was friendly with the capital, friendly with the District 13, so I think he's the most perfect game maker we have ever seen in our whole life. And he is the, you know, a natural born marketing person. And what he said about Ketnis and about the revolution on the slide, I think it, you know, write his character pretty much. And now we see the clothing. That's the last task I want to talk about, I promise. So the first one we need to see was the tribute dress of Ketnis and Pita. And the first one is the first tribute parade dress and the quarter quell parade dress. The difference between them is technically that on the second one, Ketnis wasn't shown as a girl. I think on that dress she's a woman already, and she is shown, you know, as a desirable person. On the first picture, she was only a girl, and but she was very awesome in that, you know, leathers and animal prints and stuff like that. Sina wanted to look them, you know, tough and someone who's cool enough to win these games. Well, it's quite opposite thing to show the coronation dress and the interview dress together. What I wanted to show you how much they wanted to paint a different Katniss before the games and after the first games. Her life was threatened when she wanted to eat those things in the arena, and they wanted to show that she is, she's just a girl in love, madly in love, and she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just, innocent and stuff like that, and that's why they dressed up her like as a doll or something. It's a ballerina. It's a very light color of yellow with, light waves in her hair and stuff like that. And it's an opposite of that for the Girl on Fire was wanted to show as the same thing Sina wanted to show with the tribute dress, that it's the kick-ass girl and she will fire her whole arena. And even it was, get on, truly on fire. The capital party dress and the wedding gown. That was the part when they were on their victory tour. And on the capital party dress is still Sina's creation, that stands for Katniss is a rebellion, and she's someone that can make changes and take actions against stuff. He wanted to show her he is a strong person. I think you can find out that the shoulder pads I'm wearing stands for the birds, feathers and the wings. And on the wedding dress, actually, the gown was forced to wear by Snow. It was totally white, as a wedding dress should be. It has a cage on it, as I call it. It's a cage, I think. So I think it shows that this bird is in a cage, so it won't be fly or something like that. And after that, Sina was creating, some extra in the dress, and that's why he was killed in the movies, actually, that he built up a Mockingjay dress under the wedding dress, and the way it was burnt down, it was showing to the people that we can fight against the capital, and it was a very dangerous message to send, and that's why he needed to die. And the last thing, I think it's the last slide, the black battle suit and the propaganda armor. It's technically the same dress, just like into Every Priest. But the red, we're talking about what the red stands for, and they wanted to show something outstanding on the propaganda videos and pictures, and the black one is much more suitable for fighting on the field or something like that. And the one I wanted to tell about separately, and I personally think she was a marketing pro as well, because it wasn't mentioned, I think, in the movies, but Effie was the publicist for the District 12, and she was really proud of being, first time as a real, going to a real victory tour, having tributes and stuff like that. She was the only character in the movies who was dressing up like she was known. She knew what she wanted to say to people by dressing and what she was wearing. So she's the one person in the story who doesn't need a stylist to make an image about herself. That's the first period of her. I think that's the first movie kind of period. Actually, you can see she was wearing the colors of purple, yellows, and goldish yellows. Actually, the gold and the purple stands for aristocracy. It's a higher class. I'm from the higher class. It's actually the colors of the royals, the purple and the gold. So I think that was her period when she felt superior to her district and to the people. Her second period by that was, I think, when you know, Ketnis and Peter won the games and became tributes. She got much closer to them. So now you can feel much more that she is getting much softer and much look like a clown or something. So she became much more, you know, much more like any other person. She was started to wear lighter colors, blue, that stands for much more sad visions of the royals, but still a royal, and using so many materials on every dresses that shows that she wants to, you know, making a shield between the thing that she's already seeing happening really in the games. And she was trying to shield herself against it. So that's why they use so many materials on her dresses. And the interesting part, I think, was on her, that was her dress when Ketnis planned to wear when Ketnis was on his, when it was on her wedding gown. So it's technically it's pink. So it looks like she is, felt like she is the bridesmaid to her or something like that. And that was the last when she was for the Mockingjay. And I mentioned the bridesmaid thing because I was pretty sure about that when I saw in the District 13 on the wedding of Finnick and Annie that she was wearing pink again. So she felt so close to the tributes and the victors that she felt herself that I'm that close to that people. Yeah, she was the period, you know, when everybody needed to dress up as the same thing, as uniform in the District 13, and that was the most she can, you know, make out of the stuff left for her. And it's already visible, I think, that somehow she's, that was the moment she was truly grown up and not go against what you know, goes around her and the impressions she gets. And I think interesting that the first time we saw her on the left picture, and the last time we saw her on the first picture, she was wearing the same, almost the same color, almost the same dress, but it somehow doesn't make me feel the same thing. So you can feel what is the difference between them, what was the evolution of her character. I think on the first picture you can see that she is much more like an adult with hard expressions and hard you know, expectations. And the last thing I wanted to tell you about in the task of costumes, that there is tons of things on the internet that was built as capital and Panem was really existing. So there is a capital couture on PN that you can visit on the internet, and it's an existing fashion magazine on the internet, and they are writing their articles just like Panem is existing, and what the things that are happened in the movies is truly happened. And it's a fashion magazine online, so you can check it on Google or something like that. And that's all I wanted to tell you guys, and thank you.